Good morning, everyone. It's a quarter after 10 in the morning, and today I get to do a $472 recap. So let's go over it. I traded a CDAY and UPST, Upstart. And so for Upstart here, initially I had levels on Upstart, and my levels were at 153 and some change, and then 150 even, and it just the strength on this stock, it was too much for it to get anywhere close to those targets, and I wound up changing my Fibonacci to the open anyway, to the open price. So it opened today, let's see, at 166.70, and so the trade that I took on this one was a trade where it's a little bit easier to see the Fibonacci. I'll put it right here. So here's the open at 166.70, and so it opened up and it ran up. It opened up at 166.70, and then it ran up to a high here of 171.29, and there's a pivot here at roughly 170.43. That's sort of it's not precise. I mean, usually you want your pivots a little bit tighter, but it's close enough. It's the morning pivot. And so, yeah, 170.43 is where I saw the morning pivot happening. So this thing, it dipped down, and it caught a bottom here. And as soon as it started getting back into this breakdown candle, price action started getting back in this breakdown candle right here, it started looking attractive to me. So right here in this candle, I bought, let's see, I got $4.54. Let me see my price here. Hang on. So I remember I sold at 169.99, and I got $4.54, so 4.54. So I got in at 165.45, and it was on this candle right here, right in here. Oh, cancel. Let's get rid of that text. Wrong button. This candle right here is where I got in, and the reason that I got in on that candle is because I was like, okay, well, this thing is going to definitely at least test the open. So this is the opening price, right? 166.70, and I was in at 165.45. So I was like, okay, well, there's a little bit of profit to be taken there. If it gets rejected at the open price, then I'll know it'll quickly bump back down, and I'll take some profits, even though it would have been a small trade, small profit. I know that if it fails right there at the open, then it's got another leg down. But if it doesn't fail at the open, then it's going to come back and retest the morning pivot. And fortunately, that's what it did, and it moved quickly. And so my target was the pivot. Now it could have gone higher. After it hit the pivot price, it could have gone higher. But that would have been an entirely different trade, So if it hit the pivot price and gone higher, then the trade would have been for it to come back, retest the pivot, and then continue higher. And then the continuation is where my next trade would have been. But for this time right now, my target, my entry, was basically the open. Although I did anticipate the push to the open a little bit early. It's okay. And then my target was the pivot. So I took profits there. It was worth $454 for me. So, good enough. It was 100 shares. I only traded 100 shares here. You can see 100 shares. I could have taken more risk on that trade. It was a good setup, a high quality, high probability setup. Okay, so the next CDAY. Now CDAY stock was moving so slowly, and this was the same thing here. So here's the open at 104.68, and I actually only meant to buy 10 shares here on CDAY. You can see I bought 100. I only meant to buy 10, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to average in before it broke past the open. There's something kind of tricky about my the way I have my trading platform set up, and so that is I have a default share size at 100, and so when I click on a price, I can click anywhere inside of my level 2, whether it's the ask, the bid, or the price. What do you call that? The ticker. So I can click anywhere inside of my level 2 and get a price to fill. And whenever I do that, though, it defaults to my default share size, which is 100. And so unfortunately, I bought at 104.28 for the anticipation to the push to the opening price there. And I was going to go in with like maybe 200 shares or something like that. But then as soon as I bought 100 shares at 104.28, I was like, okay, that's not how I wanted to play this. I wanted to basically start buying right around here and then continue buying until it broke above the opening price. And I would have bought 10 shares at a time for, what would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably about 10 purchases. So 100 shares anyway. But because I bought it all at once, it wasn't the strategy that I was looking for. And so this thing was moving as slow as molasses. I mean, it still is. The trading volume on this thing, it's just really slow. And so I was green on it, and I didn't like how I entered the trade. It wasn't according to my strategy and so forth. So I dumped it at 18 cents profit, for $18. Just done with it. And now I'm just kind of done with the day. I'm ready to go home and do something else. Decent day all in all. Could have been better, but could have been worse. I'm pretty happy with the day, generally speaking. I stayed out of bad trades. So let's see. Let's pull down Folk and GTIM. So here we are at $21.96. This is yesterday's high. The price action right now on FULC is at yesterday's high. This thing opened up. It could have been a trade. Buying the open, sometimes there's a trade for just buying the open. So you just buy the open. The stock runs up. You take profits a minute or two later, a few seconds later, whatever. That would have worked on this one. Let's see. We got an open. Let's see what the opening price is down here. 23.65, and it ran as high as 25.24. So that's $1.80. I didn't go for that trade. I didn't try for it. I just figured I'd let FULC kind of develop, which it's doing. It did open higher and stronger, and so a continuation play might be in there. It's just right now it's too hard to say exactly where the support price is going to come in. Imagine that there'll probably be. It's really hard to say. Here's yesterday's close at 1877. So it's possible if this thing's going to go higher today. It's possible it could come down in here somewhere. I don't know though. This is too much of a risky trade for me to enter into with any degree of confidence. GTIM really just opened up and petered out. There's really nothing going on with GTIM today. I'm glad I managed to stay away from it. Look at it on the 1 minute. Yeah, I was really looking for a move over 612. Past 612 and it would have gotten attractive, but below 612 is kind of like meh, you know. And then what else? Let's see. The SPY. Yeah, let's pull the SPY in Bitcoin. Yeah, the SPY has been hanging around the highs. Really just a really tight range there. 443, call it 443.88 and 443.23. So a 60-cent range on the day. I'm surprised actually with the way the VIX is looking. I'm surprised that it's not going higher. Actually, right now might be a good time to get in. A little bit of divergence there. It's strange that the VIX is falling through the floor and the SPY is just barely moving. That there ought to be some upside on the SPY here, starting I imagine fairly soon. And Bitcoin, now Bitcoin's doing its thing. It's bullish. Look for bullish setups. I don't trade Bitcoin. I am in a little bit of Sino here. I was in investing view, but I took my share size down to 0 on investing view. I started to average in right around 20. Yeah, here we go. So I started to average in right in here. And let's see, right before I went on vacation, which was the 15th. Yeah, right. And so, yep, there we go, right there. I averaged in to 22,500 shares right through here. So I was in at an average of 17 cents per share. And while I was on vacation, it made this really nice run up to as high as 23. Then I got back from vacation on the 2nd, and I pretty much sold everything at about 20 cents. So I only made, I don't know, I can't remember. I think it was like $700 or $800 on the trade altogether. And so I'm waiting for Investing View to come back down again. Right now, it's trying to hold the 200-day moving average. I think fair value is somewhere around 12 cents. But I'd like to trade this again. I mean, once you make a profit on, a trade, it's nice to see it play out again. But I'd like to start averaging in at a lower price. I don't know if it'll give me the opportunity to do that or not, but that's the way it goes. Sino, I'm in 500 shares at an average of $3.50. I think I started averaging into this thing somewhere in this area at about the same time that I was starting to average into Investing View. It's only 500 shares though, and so I'm looking for it to come back to break even, and then really start making a bottoming pattern and moving forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me for the day. Still hanging on to 1,000 shares of USFD. Really, gosh, this stock, So it's on an upward, it's trending up, Will it continue? I don't know. I imagine, if it starts working, then great, and if it doesn't, then once the pain becomes too much to bear, then I'll have to dump it. So yeah, just kind of hanging on to that one. We'll see how it goes. There's a support line there. So what I'm sort of hanging on to the hope. God, I hate to say that, but it'll hold this support line, and then the 200-day moving average. It's spiked the 200-day moving average a few times, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I'm looking for price support to come in, start coming into this stock here. The sooner the better. Let's see. Ay, ay, ay. So, all right. Well, all right. So yeah, that's my recap for the day. Good luck out there, everybody. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at tomorrow morning's strategy session. I am out.